This is going to be a short change to the previous video of the 1993 486 that I had. Number one, the ROM set that I was working with was an older ROM set, missing a few things, and I didn't take a look at everything that I could have. And I also spoke to my father and a couple of other people that I know from way back then, and remembered that there were a couple of things that were missing when I was putting together the original machine for you guys. The BIOS on boot up had the Energy Star logo, and the BIOS itself was very blue. I believe it was an award BIOS. So what we're going to do, this is going to be a short video, just a change, a simple little change. And if you're going to want to follow along with what I'm doing with this machine and the upgrades that happen to it in the future, what you're going to want to do is go on ahead and let's start up our machine and go immediately to the settings. And we're going to change the machine type to a socket 3. And the machine itself is going to be the SIS 471 chipset here from ASUS. I believe it's here as well. I'll take a look at that later. But considering the fact that most of my parts were not pre-built parts, basically they came from groups like ECS, Elite Build, AOpen, A-Bit. We're going to choose this ASUS VLI486 SV2 GX4. And it's the only change we're going to make. Your display is going to stay the same as it was before. The input device is going to stay as a Microsoft mouse. Sound Blaster 16 is your sound. No networking, because at this time in history, I'm still on dial-up. Generic PostScript printer to represent our dot matrix printer. Storage controller is still not on board, except for just the floppy controller. So use the dual channel PC-AT IDE controller. Our 80 megabyte hard drive, our 5 1/4, 3.5 inch drives, and our 2x CD-ROM drive. That's all the machine should be. Again, the only change is the machine itself, a socket 3 ASUS. Now again, we won't need to make any changes to the software itself. Everything should boot up just fine. What we will do is go into the BIOS and make our changes that we need. So go on ahead and hit delete to get there, and then go to IDE auto detection, hit enter. Yes, this is fine. You can either hit 1 or Y and enter. Hit escape, enter for no, escape, enter for no, and escape, enter for no. Go to the standard CMOS setup. And again, double check, we got our user's setup hard drive. None, 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 and add in our second floppy. Escape. BIOS features, let's go on ahead and put this down to A, then C. We'll eventually change that when you know you're not going to be booting from floppy anytime soon. And then that is pretty much it. Go to save and exit. Yes, enter, and let it boot. And as you can see, everything is loading with no errors. There's no other changes that need to be made. We don't need to run MemMaker again because we don't have new memory, nothing else. And everything is still the same way that we left it. The next video, we're going to go over getting Windows installed and get the sound drivers and graphics drivers set up for it. And then we'll get into showing how to set up games, get them installed, and playing them and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Next video will be out shortly.